Hey everyone, I'm Segaszivos. Thanks for joining. You're probably here because you're trying to solve a problem that I was able to solve recently, and I want to share my success with you. I'm a big collector of video games, and I wondered, what can I do to preserve the quality and condition of the games that I own today? And a simple solution that I found is purchasing plastic cases that you can place over your video games. I'm going to be talking about Sega Genesis games in this video, and what I love about this is that, of course, it works for both your cardboard games as well as your plastic spine cases. As you can see, I have two games here, two games that I love, Warsong, Phantasy Star 4, and they're securely in these cases. What I like about these cases is that they're very easy to work with, and there's actually some strength that goes with it. I mean, you can't step on this, but if you were to drop the game, don't worry about the cardboard bending or the game getting damaged, because there's enough strength in this to be able to protect it for those small accidents that you may have. So I want to show you the process of putting a couple of games in these cases. I'll show you the process of assembling one of the cases, just to point out how convenient it is. I've come across other products similar to this, and I've had mixed success. What's really critical is there are little tabs here that actually snugly secure to the additional tabs here. They have a locking mechanism. There are other products out there that have locking mechanisms similar to this, but they're very difficult to use. They're designed poorly. But this product specifically, it works like a champ. It takes one or two tries and you're ready to go, and it's very secure. So I'll show you the process of putting a plastic case into one of these protectors, and then I'll show you the process of doing it with a cardboard case. So pretty simple. I want to point out one thing here. There's actually a seam on one side of the case. Now take note that you probably want the seamless side to be the side that you're going to have the text on the game on the exterior on your bookcase. So very simply, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out an orientation. So in this case, I have to flip it around so that I can slide the game up in this case. That way it's on the outside, and let me turn it around. There we go. I want it on the outside. And then the other thing is that I want the hinges to be on the back. So I'm turning it around, I flipped it, and I'm going to put it in this way. So let's just slide it in. You have to be a little careful because this hinge that's coming in can get snagged. But if you're patient, you're careful, you'll be able to put it in. Even with a cardboard case that's in poor condition, if you're patient, you're going to be able to slide it in without snagging the cardboard. The last thing you want to do is damage your video game box when you're trying to put it inside one of these cases. So I put Phantasy Star 3 in here, and then I'm gonna put the hinge in, and it's a very simple process. You just slide it in across like this, and notice how it locked immediately. Some of the other cases I mentioned, it'll actually take several tries. I've spent 15 minutes trying to get one case, one box around my video game boxes. So pretty simple process, ready to go. As you can see, there's no seam on this side. As you can see, there's no hinge coming across. But if I were to flip it around on the back side, you can see the hinge where it's snapped in place. And then on the inside of where it's going to be placed in the bookcase, you're going to have that seam. So just be patient. Think about how you're going to place it in. That way you're not going back in your time and adjusting this. But simple enough. And I do want to point out, like, okay, why do I want to do this? This might be difficult to see, but there are fingerprints on this. Think about what you're doing all day. I just washed my hands, so I'm not leaving fingerprints anymore, but this is from earlier. Think about this being put on your cardboard. Think about this being put on your plastic cases. It's something you want to avoid, and this is a great way to protect your games so that you don't have to worry about, as you handle them, getting residue on the case. So moving on, we'll take Earthworm Jim here, and we're going to assemble it. Or we're going to put it into this case here. So I'm thinking about this. I don't want it this direction because I'm going to have the locking mechanism on the front. So I need to flip it around and we're ready to go. So I'll start with the bottom side. I'll take bottom side and slide it up. I got the game in place. And I'm actually going to turn the camera down, so perhaps this is a better way for you to see it. And I'm going to, so I've folded in the two flaps here, and now I'm going to take the last section, fold it in. Notice how I'm carefully squeezing here. It forces the plastic to pop up, and then I can slide the plastic in between the cardboard and the plastic, and it locked into place. You probably heard that snapping. And that's how you know you've done it right. And now moving on to the top side, I have a little tear on the box. So this is a very important part where you want to get your plastic or your cardboard where it's damaged. If you have any damage on your cases, I'm sure like you or like me, most of you do have some damaged cardboard cases. You're going to want to make sure that you're holding that in place so it doesn't get worse. If anything, it's gonna get back into better shape, hopefully. And now that here's a hard part, I'm just very gently sliding it between the cardboard and the plastic. Let me try it from the side instead. And there we go. Almost done. There we go. And the snap. Perfect. And this is a fully protected game now. You can see the top, the sides. Like I said, it's got some resistance here, so it's going to protect your game for sure. I love it. Now let's do one from scratch, just so that you can experience how simple it is. I'm very briefly, I mentioned smudges here. I'm very briefly gonna polish this case, try to get it nice and clean. Those are the sponges that I had from before I washed my hands. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking it once and I'm folding it in, and that creates almost a perfect rectangle. And then we're ready to go. We can take the game and place it in here. So once again, thinking about what direction I want this in. I want the hinges to be coming to the back side. So I have this in the correct direction, and I want to make sure that the text is on the inside, or the outside spine is going to be the side without the seam, so that you get that really great look when it's on display. And we're going to be very careful, slide it in. Excellent. Now that was a success. Now I'm going to fold these hinges in, and then very carefully I'm going to take this flap, I'm going to bend it a little bit, and I'm going to fold, I'm going to push in so I get that pop out on the plastic away from the cardboard, and then I can slide it in, and I got my snap. Now you can see this game's got a little bit of damage here as well, so I'm going to be try to be very careful. I don't want to damage it further, so I'm folding it in as I push it down, and I'm going to take this flap, fold it over, and I'm going to flex it a little bit. All right, and we're done. We are done. Yeah, so that's the process. Very easy to do. We're talking about, I spent $1 on these cases to protect my games, and I wish we had these 15, 20, 30 years ago, because this Contra case, when I got it, it was in much better condition than it is now. And you know, I take pride in the way that I protect my games, but it's difficult. You know, you need purpose-built solutions to be able to ensure that you protect your games, and I highly recommend this product. I'd love to hear what you guys do. I'm sure there's a lot of different options out there, and and of course I want to hear about it. I just want to point out one thing. I have a similar product. So you have a similar product for NES cases, and this one is nowhere near as good as the Sega Genesis one. I can feel the strength in the Sega Genesis one, and the NES one is much more flimsy. Let me adjust my camera. The NES one is much more flimsy, and I'll show you exactly what it means. So it's got locking mechanisms as well, but as you put it in, it has a habit of popping back out. So watch this. That's not good. That's not good. It's not. Notice how it's bending. We have some bending on the back side of this box here. I would not recommend this product. I'll include some information about which one I bought on Amazon for the NES. That way you guys don't run into the same problem as me. I really want to go with the beautiful one that this video is about for the Sega Genesis. I just fold it over. I'm sorry to show this process again, but I just want to show you how much easier and how much more reliable this is. And price per product, they're about the same. You know, you get the NES one that's really crappy, it's about $1 per game. You get the Sega Genesis one that I'm going to put the link into the description. It's about $1 per case as well, and it's 10 times better. I wouldn't even pay 10 cents for this one. It's just not worth. It's not worth buying. Just get rid of it. Oh yeah, one last thing. So your clamshell plastic Sega Genesis video game cases, some of them may still have the hanging mechanism for when it was in the retail store. A lot of them, you'll see that they've been cut off or they've been bent in, and you could just bend it in as, I may have an example like that, I don't. You could just bend it in and it'll be somewhat flush on the inside of the plastic here. No harm, no foul. But I like to preserve the rigidness of it pointing up. Unfortunately, these cases don't have a slot for that. I actually had to alter these cases myself so that I could have those tabs, those hanging clips point up. And really, it's not a lot of effort. It just takes about a minute. And all I did is I came in. I didn't even use an X-Acto knife. I just used like small scissors, precision scissors, and I just cut across and I cut down a little bit, cut down, cut across, and then when you have that in place, and I would recommend putting some depth to the cut. I would recommend some depth. Otherwise, you get a bump out effect here, where it's it might be difficult to see. There's a bump out here because there's just so much strain here. It forces the plastic out. But if you put some volume to this cut across here, it'll actually snap into place much better. And you'll get that flush look in the end. I hope this was helpful. Like what I said earlier, I want to hear what you guys are doing to protect your video games. There's a lot of options out there, and we should exchange ideas. You never know what you're going to learn from other people. Thanks a lot. If you like the video, be sure to like it and hit subscribe.